My 2022 NFL quarterback tiers video is finally here, folks. Now hold on to your nuts and butts because there is sure to be some disagreement, but try to enjoy it anyway. Tier 8, Rookies. These are QBs who are rookies. Duh. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Kitten Mittens was the only first-round quarterback taken this year, and there's a good chance he'll eventually get to play soon since Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph are pretty bad. He appears to like throwing checkdowns, which sucks, but he has an amazing head of hair, so my wife is hoping that he succeeds. Malik Willis. It's only a matter of time before this exciting dual-threat quarterback takes over for Ryan Tannehill. This situation reminds me a lot of the Joe Flacco-Lamar Jackson situation back in 2018 for Baltimore. Willis's upside is outrageous, and if he pans out, he could become a smaller version of Lamar Jackson, which is not a bad thing, by the way. Desmond Ridder. Ridder is stuck behind Mark Ass Mariota for now, but everybody knows Mariota is a spot starter. Ridder offers the possibility of something more, which is why I also expect him to start at some point this season. He's got a huge arm and could get the most out of Kyle Pitts. Tier 7, too soon to tell. These are quarterbacks who don't have enough of a sample size to fall into any category for now. Jordan Love. It's been 3 years since the Packers traded up in the first round to get Love, and it looks like he'll be sitting behind Rodgers for at least several more years. What we've seen from Love so far in limited action is a mixed bag. I have no idea what Green Bay is going to do with him if Rodgers keeps playing well. He looks like he'll be one of the biggest wasted picks ever at this point if he's not traded. Davis Mills. Draftman Mills surprised everybody in 2021. He was expected to be just another awful rookie quarterback for a horrible Texans team, but he actually showed flashes of legit talent. However, the bar was the floor. Now he enters 2022 with real expectations. I doubt he'll ever become elite, but I think he can be a solid starter. Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence's rookie season was a tremendous disappointment in basically every way. He was given a pass by everybody due to the circus around him, but now that Urban Meyer is gone and he has a Super Bowl winning head coach in Doug Peterson, the excuses for this quote-unquote generational can't-miss prospect have to stop. If he has another subpar season in year 2, some uncomfortable discussions will need to be had. Justin Fields. Fields' play in 2021 warrants him being in the scrubs category, but I am a kind person and a class act and realize that he was just a rookie in a bad situation. As I've said many times, I am not very high on Fields' future, no offense to Josh Gordon, since he doesn't seem to process defenses quickly enough. He will always have the elite physical tools, but will he magically wake up and become good one day like Josh Allen did? I highly doubt it. Zach Wilson. Wilson is known for getting injured and allegedly banging MILFs. While my respect for him personally has skyrocketed, my opinion of him as a quarterback has torpedoed. Coming out of BYU, he had just one good season, and since it's illegal for the Jets to have good quarterback play, it was a given that Wilson would be terrible as a rookie, and he was. My faith in him ever becoming a good quarterback is non-existent. Trey Lance. 2022 Trey Lance is in a similar situation to 2018 Patrick Mahomes. Both are physical freaks replacing limited quarterbacks who won a lot but couldn't get a team that was ready to win now over the hump. Will Lance explode onto the scene the way Mahomes did? I doubt it, but if he pans out, the 49ers will go from being very good to great, much like the Chiefs did with Mahomes. Jalen Hurts. Hurts is entering his second season as a starter, and I still don't know if he's the answer to the future. He has shown that he can produce against bad teams, but he's not up to the moment against good teams. His atrocious playoff showing versus Tampa last year as an example of this. He has plenty of talent around him offensively. If he doesn't show out this year, Philadelphia should seriously consider moving on. Tier 6, Scrubs. These are QBs who suck and actively make their teams worse. Daniel Jones. We're entering year 4 of the Daniel Jones experiment in New York, and as an Eagles fan, I hope it continues for 15 years because this guy is fucking terrible. There's nothing I can say here that hasn't already been said plenty of times. He has terrible anticipation in the pocket. He has good athleticism and speed, but he doesn't use it. Of course, he's also the most prolific fumbler in the league. In a rare twist, all of the draft experts who scolded his selection at the time of the draft turned out to be correct. Drew Lock. Lock was once expected to be the future of the Broncos, but they quickly realized he was not the answer. He has a strong arm, but his decision-making is terrible and honestly has been that way since he was in college at Missouri. Now he just lost one of the most embarrassing quarterback battles in recent memory to Geno Smith. Speaking of Geno Smith, like Lock, came into the league as a potential franchise quarterback, but for the Jets. Obviously, it did not pan out. Neither did his stint with the Giants. He has continued to be bad in Seattle, backing up Russell Wilson, but now Wilson is gone, and Geno won the aforementioned quarterback battle with Lock. I'm sure this is not the career many envisioned for him when he came out of West Virginia. Sam Darnold. Darnold was terrible with the Jets for 3 years, so people thought maybe a new start for him in Carolina would finally get the former 3rd overall pick to wake up and stop being dog shit. Well, it turns out that Mono Boy just sucks in any situation. situation. After another dreadful season in 2021, he has now lost a quarterback battle to Baker Mayfield and gotten hurt. And it looks like the grandson of Dick Hammer, yes, that's true, I'm not making it up, will spend the rest of his days as a backup and as one of the biggest draft busts ever. Marcus Mariota. The last time Mariota was a starter in 2019 with Tennessee, he was so bad they benched him for Ryan Tannehill and immediately went on a run to the AFC Championship game and made the playoffs 3 straight years. After a few years as a gadget player with the Raiders, he's giving it another try as a starter in the post-Matt Ryan era, but does anybody really expect him to succeed? No. He has never approached his 2016 season again and is a certified draft bust. Jared Goff. Goff tricked a bunch of people for a few years when he put up good stats with Sean McVay in his ear, but even McVay could only cover up Goff's limitations for so long. His first year in Detroit went about how you'd expect. Lots of losses and not very many good performances. How did this guy get drafted first overall again? If you get traded and your old team immediately wins the Super Bowl, it does not reflect well on you. Mitch Trubisky. Truth be told, I think Mitch is a good guy and fellow titty lover, so it kinda hurt me to put him in the scrubs category, but outside of 2018, he has been bad. He is capable of being a good spot starter, but if he is your full-time starter, unless you have an elite defense like Chicago had for many years, you're in serious trouble. He can't throw left. The Dolphins' biggest draft mistake maybe ever. Hello, Justin Herbert is getting another chance to start this year. And considering all the talent he has around him, including women's rights activist Tyree Hill, there's no excuse for Tua to be bad again. As I said, there's nothing about Tua that stands out. What is he great at exactly? Nothing. If he proves me wrong, then so be it, but I'll stay on this hill, goddammit. Tier 5, average. These are quarterbacks who aren't terrible, but they won't carry you to wins. Baker Mayfield. I'm giving Mayfield the benefit of the doubt here. I believe he is a better quarterback than what he showed in 2021 when he was playing through injuries that affected his play. However, it is also apparent that the former first overall pick is never going to live up to that standard, hence why he was replaced by an alleged sexual predator who should be in jail. Mayfield is capable of really good stretches of play, but he can't carry a team. Carson Wentz. After his horrendous 2020 season that put him in the scrubs category, Wentz bounced back with a solid 2021 season that showed that his 2020 season was just an aberration, much like his 2017 season was an aberration in the opposite way. The fact that the Colts traded Wentz after just one season shows that something is missing for the former second overall pick. At this point, he is simply an average quarterback who struggles in crunch time. Jameis Winston. Say what you want about Jameis off the field, but goddammit, the man once threw for 30 interceptions in a season. Isn't that quirky? Don't you find his crazy mannerisms to be funny? I don't. As for his actual quarterback play, he cut down the turnovers big time before getting hurt last year, showing that he can be reined in somewhat. However, with Sean Payton gone now, will he revert back to his gunslinger ways? Something tells me he will, and New Orleans will suffer for it. Mac Jones. I would have put Jones in the too soon to tell category, but I'm taking a leap of faith here and saying he's already about as good as we're going to see him be in the NFL. He's physically maxed out and will never have a strong arm, but he does have good anticipation, which makes him solid, not great. With Belichick, he'll continue to have good defenses to help him beat bad teams, but can Jones evolve to win games on his own? I have doubts. Ryan Tannehill. 2021 was a major step back for Tannehill individually, even though the Titans secured the first overall seed somehow. I was tempted to still keep him in the above average tier, but the facts are that Tannehill is not a big game quarterback and not a guy who can carry a team to a title. Anytime he is forced into pure passing situations, his limitations become evident. He is a good athlete though. Sneaky athlete, some might say. Matt Ryan. Ryan is still one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league in terms of pre-snap recognition, but his physical tools, which were never great to begin with, have declined even further. He basically relies all on anticipation and touch with his throws now. One of Ryan's flaws is taking drive-killing sacks when he shouldn't. Hello, Super Bowl 51. This is a reason why his teams have blown so many leads in recent years. I think he is still good enough to win games with a good defense, but he won't put up the monster counting numbers like he did in his prime. Tier 4, above average. These are quarterbacks who are capable of stretches of elite performance but have too many bad games each year to be truly elite. Kirk Cousins. At this point, I honestly don't know if Cousins is the unluckiest quarterback ever. I do know that he has a supernatural ability to put up good stats in losses, unlike any other quarterback ever. He is objectively good, even including all the stat padding he may do. A quarterback doesn't put up his numbers unless he's good. But the same thing remains true. Absolutely nobody is afraid of Kirk Cousins. Nobody. You just can't trust him in big moments. Derek Carr. Carr has the physical tools to be an elite quarterback, and every year he has a stretch of great play that teases you into thinking this is finally when he's going to take the next step, only for him to fall flat on his face. He has never had a good defense, but his offenses have consistently been mediocre also. Will that change now that he's reunited with college buddy Davante Adams? Maybe, but Carr is basically Detroit Matt Stafford with more eyeliner. He has nice counting stats, lots of game-winning drives, but no playoff wins. Kyler Murray. Unlike Cousins and Carr, who have been in the league for a decade or nearly a decade, Murray is entering just his 4th season and can easily move up this list in the near future. Work ethic concerns aside, Murray's decline once November begins is a legitimate thing. As long as he only puts up great numbers the first 2 months, it is impossible to ever consider him more than just above average. Does his smaller stature have something to do with him wearing down so fast like I do in bed? This is something to monitor as his career progresses. Tier 3, franchise quarterback. These are quarterbacks who have the ability to win games by themselves, but they still need a great team around them to make a deep playoff run. Matthew Stafford. Stafford apologists were proven correct after all those years of defending him in Detroit. It turns out that going to the NFL equivalent of a super team has its benefits, and it ended with Stafford getting a Super Bowl win. But he wasn't just along for the ride. He had several hugely clutch throws at timely moments in the playoffs to get his team across the finish line. He is still prone to interceptions and bad games, but he is a legitimate franchise quarterback. Lamar Jackson. Lamar supporters believe he is up there with any other quarterback in the sport, while Lamar detractors believe he's averaged at best. Me, I see the entire picture. The truth is, Lamar still struggles in pure passing situations more than he should, but he is not an incapable passer. However, this limitation is valid and why he can't be considered truly elite. But he will always be a franchise quarterback because his running ability is so lethal and legitimately impacts games. However, until he has a good playoff run, his detractors will be very vocal. The real question nobody is asking is whether or not a different offensive philosophy could unlock more of him as a passer. Has he peaked? I'm not so sure he has. Dak Prescott. Much like his predecessor Tony Romo, Dak has become far better than anyone imagined when he came into the league. But the league is unforgiving if you don't win. Much like Romo, Dak's nice stats really don't mean much as long as he keeps falling short in the playoffs or missing them entirely. Dak is as good as anybody at carving up bad teams, but he's always struggled way more against good opponents than you'd like. He's very good, but there's just something that prevents him from truly reaching the top tier. Deshaun Watson. Trying to talk about Watson as a football player after all that's happened in the last year plus feels pointless. He should be in jail, but he got a record-setting contract instead. There's no doubt he is a special talent, but even as a quarterback, he does have some flaws. His biggest flaw, as a player, is that he takes a lot of sacks, which kills drives for his team. He's also been more interception-prone and fumble-prone than you'd like for a superstar quarterback. But let's face it, he'll put up great numbers in Cleveland, and the NFL media will tiptoe around his terrible deeds just like they did for years with Roethlisberger. Tier 2, elite. These are quarterbacks who can carry a team without perfect conditions around them. Their team is never out of a game as long as they're under center, but they're not as proven in the playoffs as Tier 1 guys. Justin Herbert. Putting a guy who has never made the playoffs into the elite category is a risk, but it's my list, so fuck you. Herbert is the real deal and will one day very soon be a Tier 1 quarterback. He has supernatural ability, and if he ever gets a good defense, the Chargers will be very scary. I admittedly am biased towards Herbert because he throws a super awesome looking ball, but he's already breaking records 2 years in, and I fully expect it to continue for many years to come. Russell Wilson. While Herbert's star is on the rise, Wilson's star has somewhat plateaued. He had his first major injury and losing season in 2021, along with some choppy games. But there is still no quarterback in the league who has a better deep ball, and now that he's rejuvenated on a new team with some nice talent around him, I expect him to make the Broncos a winner again and finally earn some MVP votes in the process. Joe Burrow. Burrow has made the Bengals into winners again, which just a year ago seemed impossible. While I still believe Burrow gets too much credit for the Bengals Super Bowl run and not enough blame for not closing out the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter, the fact remains that he is a stud who is capable of putting up huge numbers to win games. For the first time in ages, the Bengals don't feel like pushovers or mentally weak, and Burrow is a big reason for that. Josh Allen. Some would be tempted to put Josh Allen into Tier 1 following his amazing postseason, and I almost did, but I feel like he still hasn't had enough elite regular seasons yet to break through to that level. His efficiency as a passer in 2021 was pretty mediocre, although he still threw for 36 touchdowns and impacted games with his running ability. Simply put, Allen is a monster, and with one more elite season, he will officially become a QB god in my eyes. Tier 1, gods. These are quarterbacks who have their teams in position to make the Super Bowl every year regardless of who is around them. The absolute best of the best. Tom Brady. In case you've missed it, I finally bent the knee and admitted that Brady is the GOAT. There's really not much I can say about Brady that hasn't already been said. He reads defenses better than anybody, he gets the ball to the right guy faster than anybody, and he can hit deep throws adequately, although it's not his strength. But Brady is really on here because he is inevitable in the fourth quarter. No lead is ever safe against him, and I fully expect him to put up monster stats again with a talented roster. I'm going to take a shower now. Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers has all the physical tools and knows defenses better than anybody besides maybe Brady. This has led to him winning a bunch of MVPs, putting up historic regular season numbers, and lots of regular season success. But it also makes it all the more puzzling why he hasn't had more playoff success. To be fair, he does have a Super Bowl win and Super Bowl MVP, but that happened over a decade ago. Having as many rings as Trent Dilfer and Nick Foles for a guy with Rodgers' talent is embarrassing. He should have 3 or 4 rings at least, but it just hasn't happened. Is it due to bad luck? Partly, but Rodgers isn't as consistent in the playoffs the way he is in the regular season. Still, he is so historically dominant in the regular season, he can't possibly be placed anywhere but Tier 1. And finally, Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes had by far his worst season ever last year, and he still threw for almost 5,000 yards and 37 touchdowns. He also then bounced back to play essentially 2.5 perfect playoff games before mysteriously crapping himself in the second half and overtime of the AFC Championship game at home to lose. It was a massive missed opportunity for him to win another ring. But don't get it twisted. Mahomes remains the NFL's biggest freak show. He makes several plays every game that other quarterbacks don't even attempt. He dominates from the pocket, he dominates out of the pocket, he can scramble when needed, he doesn't take many sacks, and he's almost always clutch. If there's any current quarterback that can even come close to one day approaching Brady's career resume, it's this guy. Tier 0. Handsome, sexy gods. These QBs are handsome, they're sexy, and they're gods. What more do you need to know? Jimmy Garoppolo. That's right, folks. As of this video, the beautiful Jimmy Garoppolo is still without a team, and I am an emotional wreck. This isn't a coincidence, as Garoppolo is being blackballed from the league for being too sexy. He's so good looking, he makes other players insecure, and that's why the league is trying to push him out. I honestly can't think of another 49ers quarterback who led the team to a Super Bowl appearance and an NFC Championship game appearance in recent memory that has been treated worse than Jimmy.